Pwede sa siya ka. Okay, right.
Mana remote niya? Ang dami pusing remote niya man lang.
Good. The sound to the
Check.
testing.
Ito po, day testing sudah. Bagus juga masuk.
Yes. Oh, itu oke, masih ya. Kedengaran nggak? Kedengaran. Good. No testing. Testing. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we will begin in 5 minutes. We would like everyone to please be seated.
Oke, ayo.
Oke nggak? Banyak jalan-jalan.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to shortly. May I please invite everyone to be seated. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. Before we begin this afternoon's event, we would like a moment of your attention for a safety briefing. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the concourse area of the ICC. There is no planned fire drill testing for today. Should you hear the alarm sound, please treat it as brief. In the event of any emergency, please remain calm and proceed to the main entrance of the ICCC headquarters. The nearest assigned point will be a car park village in front of Golden Shore or Indian community. Also, our people on standby will lead you to the center. Thank you for your attention. Young Leader. Haji Azad bin Haji Yahya, Permanent Secretary of the Department of Energy and India, and Managing Director of Brunei Shell Petroleum and Shell Company Chair in Brunei. Young Leader. Project Farida Al-Khalid, Managing Director and CEO of Brunei LNG. Young Leader. Muhammad Morshafi, Buka Hajjapur, Managing Director of Brunei Shell MYCE. Senior government officials, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the BSP's special ceremony unveiling the system value analysis for Brunei's energy transition. We begin today's event by inviting young Maria Muhammad Faiz bin Abdul Aziz, BSP Pipeline Engineer, to lead the recital of Surah Al-Fatihah and Dua Salama to bless this afternoon's ceremony. Coming on your partner energy. We would now like to know, and with the answer please, mental factor commercial for the short future to give our welcoming remarks.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. First of all, I would like to thank you all for this very special ceremony. Where we remember the 65 classes for online learning life in our quest to drive impact and accelerate progress in the education. Today is indeed a call for celebration, especially as we have just launched an education meeting for the Brunei Nuclear Conference session 2027 this morning. PSC is proud to initiate the systematic analysis of Brunei together with us. With the support from federal government departments and agencies, preparing the sharing of expertise and data. So what is the The system diagram is a framework that evaluates economic and environmental, social, and technical outcomes of improvement disabilities. It's a wider lens for decision making, shifting from looking focus beyond the to include an additional set of parameters in defining direction. Recognizing that large-scale implementation will require supported by policies and regulations. How does the world as the country progresses with a low carbon and climate resilient nation, we feel is committed to their trusted government overnight and then take support from shape of your policies that can support the right conditions to reach quality zero by 2050. We believe that the environmental analysis can be used to underpin further dialogue to drive alignment, decisions, and negotiation between private and public stakeholders. Collaboration is vital to unlock sustainable investments in solutions for the energy transition. So what are the key aspects of the social value analysis? Regions identified the dramatic period. One, the deployment of systems and solar. Two, solar panels, capacity and reduce hydrogen production. Three, carbon capture and storage to decarbonize industries. Overall, these four solutions will help Brunei achieve its national 2035 emission target and stay on track to achieve net zero by 2050. As we know, the speed of transition to a low carbon future will quickly depend on actions taken to put in place broad policies necessary to drive the accelerated changes. The most benefits from the right of clean energy go way beyond the numbers. It will boost income development and deliver economic benefits such as job creation. I would like to applaud the efforts we have made thus far. I am most proud that system value analysis will be published in the World Economic Forum website next week, setting the stage for more meaningful dialogue on how energy transition can be implemented. These efforts must not stop. We have to remain focused on the long-term challenge of energy transition and climate change. We see already the world to make a way, and we are moving steps with a global drive towards a low-carbon future. At the same time, we aim to sustain our significant economy, sustainably powering the United and delivering responsibly and safely. Thank you.
Thank you. And now, we move on to highlight today's event. We invite everyone to turn their attention to the screen for a special video outlining the system value analysis for Brunei's energy transition. Thank you for your kind attention. Now, we would like to invite our guest of honor to behind the study for root coil implant.
What's this? Prevention of nature. Oh. This
Ladies and gentlemen,
No, 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 no,
this
no.
brings us to the
Okay.
end of the ceremony. Our special thanks and appreciation to all guests, especially the guest of honor, Leonida from PGSR, prominent secretaries from various industries, distinguished guests for attending today's ceremony. For those of you interested to learn more about the SBA, we welcome you to visit our booth and recall our DSP and Accenture representatives will be present to attend training. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, kami dito slipas ka. Noticing.
Hello, testing. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good afternoon. Welcome to the SHENA MYCE event. We are delighted to bring you on some awareness and knowledge related to prevention of major accident and incident in the workplace. So this presentation will also be guided based on regulatory lens in related to the compliance of workplace safety and health order and the regulation thereunder including control of major accident regulation, also known as COMA. To bless the event this afternoon, we would like to invite Yang Mulia Haji Muhammad Hafizul Khairi to recite the recitation of Surah Al-Fatihah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين
Amin, 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 Ya Rabbal Alamin. Before the presentation begins, allow me to remind you that there is no plan for fire drill today. If you heard any alarm, please remain calm and kindly exit to the right side of this lecture entrance. Our SHENA and ICC officer will guide you towards the closest exit door and to the assembly point. We also have SHENA's first aider here, standby to provide support if required. So quick presentation housekeeping. To minimize noise, please ensure your phone are on silent. Due to the time limitation, all questions will only be entertained at the end of the presentation during question and answer session. Please ensure to always maintain your professionalism and use respectful language during the lecture. And lastly, you will be able to win some wonderful prizes by participating to our quizzes activity. Highly recommended to listen and focus on the presentation to get the prize. Thank you for your kind attention. Okay, next, without further ado, we would like to invite our first speaker, Yang Mulia Zariatul Samra, Training Inspector from Process Safety Division to deliver the presentation. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Zara Samra and I'm the training instructor from Process Safety Division. So I'll deliver the first part of the presentation of this afternoon and followed by two other colleagues. So let's get started. So on the slides here you can see two examples of the major accident event that happened in the world. So let me get started with the one on my left. So it is a Piper Alpha incident which happened on the 6th of July 1988. So there were 226 crew on board working on rotation basis. So let me tell you the story about this incident briefly. So there were two condensate pumps on the rig, and pump A was offline and underwent maintenance. Pump B was the only pump that were working at the time. However, there were problems with pump B because it keeps on tripping and triggering the alarm at the control. So it was decided that they will have to um, bring the pump A on in order to avoid shutdown. So, and unfortunately, when they wanted to bring pump A on, it was not known that the safety valve had been removed. So there were no prevention in place to avoid the hydrocarbon gas from escaping. So when the pump B was switched, 9:55 p.m., the incident happened. So a spark ignited the escape gas, and explosion ripped through the ring. And the length of the rig right earlier was from the blowout incident. So this incident happened in 20th April 2010. So at the Gulf of Mexico. So there were 126 crew on board a semi-submersible drilling rig called the Deepwater Horizon. So if you have seen the movie Deepwater Horizon, so this is it. The crews were actually making preparations to temporarily abandon the well they have been drilling for the past few days under the prospect called Macondo. So on the previous night before the incident, they had cemented final steel casing and pressure tested the well just few hours before the incident happened. So at 9:10 p.m., mud suddenly erupted from the well, pouring all over the drill floor and shoot up about above the height of the rig. This was driven by the hydrocarbon gas that leaked into the well unnoticed and rapidly expanding as it approached the surface. Unfortunately, it was too late for the crews to realize that they had lost control of the well. They tried to contain and divert the gas. However, within minutes, the gas has spilled all over the rig floor and reached the room and ignited. So this caused the first of two catastrophic explosions. The crews were unable to close the blowout preventer on the seabed nor to disconnect the rig from the well. As a result, 11 lives were claimed, 17 people injured, and there were damage to the vital hydraulic control and ultimately sinking the Deepwater Horizon. The blowout lasted for 87 days and spilling nearly 5 million barrels of oil into the Gulf of Mexico. So I'll move on to the lessons learned from the incident. So for Piper Alpha disaster, there were significant failures in the maintenance and maintenance management. There were lack of training on maintenance and emergency response plan, non-explosion proof equipment, poor evacuation, or total lack of systematic attention to major accident hazard risk, and it resulted in the introduction of safety case for every fixed and mobile installation operating in the UK. As for Macondo blowout, so the blowout was a very complex, closely connected interplay of technical, human, organizational, and regulatory factors. The combinations of oversights in the risk management and lack of procedures and training. Safety critical system had performance efficiency during emergency. Next, I'll pass the presentation to the next presenter, Amirul.
Thank you, Zariko. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. My name is Amirul. I'm Inspector 2 for Process Safety Division. Today, this afternoon, I'm going to present about process safety management and a little bit about COMA legislation. So, as my colleague just mentioned just now, we regards to the two major accident, the Python Alpha and the Python Dog. It's a serious major accident. So how we can prevent these major accident to happen and manage process safety? Yeah? So in this slide, it shows you the diagram, yeah, about how we manage process safety. Yeah? So this shows you that design, operation, maintenance, and also asset integrity is important factor to ensure the effectiveness of the process safety. So in other words, these elements are important in every aspect of the facilities. Again, for example, the first element, engineering. So it is important to have a discussion during the design at the early stage before the facility being built. Second element is the procurement. Procurement, i.e., to procure the right material to build the facility, to build the equipment. Third element is the construction. We need to ensure that what I mean by need, the duty holder need to ensure that the construction of the facility will be built properly. Fourth element is the operation. They need to ensure that the operation throughout the facility is to the format regulation and also as per the standard operating procedure. Last element is the maintenance part, where the facility is required to be maintained throughout its entire life. So these five elements altogether, we process safety division, we monitor it via safety test. So in our regulation, control of major accident hazard regulation, it's stated that the degree holders, which is the operator, required to submit to us the safety test. So what is should be contained inside the safety test? So inside the safety test, it should be containing the particulars as shown in this slide. The first one is major accident hazard assessment. This includes both eye or risk assessment. Second particular is inventories and properties of hazardous substances. They need to submit to us the list of inventories that of the hazardous substances that exist in their facilities, including safety data sheet. The third particular is description of facility. They need to provide us the description whether the facility is going to be onshore, offshore, is it a mobile facility or a fixed facility. Safety critical people, procedure, and safety equipment. Main one is combined operation. If the facility have the intention to have a combined operation with other facilities. Next one is the workforce consolidation process. And lastly, they need to, this is important, they need to submit to us their on-site and off-site emergency response plan. This slide is show you an introductory of our division, process safety division, PSD. So PSD is an operational division under SHENA, which regulates facility, particularly oil and gas and petrochemical facilities. So we regulate this through the assessment of safety tests, as I mentioned earlier. We also assess notifications, such as notification of well operation, design notification, and also decommissioning and restoration. So basically, we are enforcing the Workplace Safety and Health Order 2009, and also the regulation underneath it, which particularly the COMA regulation. So this slide shows you the map of Brunei, which showing the existing COMA facilities. So on the right hand side, Brunei Mora, we have two COMA facility, Pengi and SM. And the Lion District, we have rules of existing COMA facility, including AHET, MC, BNNG, Total, DFI, and SP. That's onshore. We also have offshore facility, which is SPBSP and also Total. Total also they have their offshore facility, which is the Maharaja Delta. Lastly, we also have mobile facilities. Mobile facilities is, for example, a vessel that provide accommodation, or for example, maybe trading rig. Okay, this slide just show you the statistics that we have for 3 years. Yeah. The number of septic tests that we have certified. In 2021, we have 109, which is a slight increase from previous year. For 2022, so far we have 43, but we do expect the increase of septic tests for this year because of the oil and gas price. For notification, in 2021, there is a slight increase of notification we received. This is due to pandemic restriction last year. So this is my last slide. In conclusion, SHENA has been So SHENA as the regulator, we monitor the duty holders via the septic test system, and we also do inspection on site. So this is to ensure the compliance on site. We also implemented the regulation in place to ensure that the duty holders are complying to regulatory requirements and applying the best practice in asset integrity and process safety. Yeah, that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Yang Mulia Amirul and Zaratul, for an insightful presentation. And indeed, we would like to sit at the proactive side by preventing the major accident by complying to the regulation. Now we will move to the after scenario. Should there is incident or fatality happen in your workplace? Our next speaker is Yang Mulia Iza Alinor, and she will be presenting on the regulatory workplace investigation and response. All right, Iza, the floor is yours.
Hello everyone, thank you Yana. I'm Iza Dinar from Investigation and Response Division. So I'll be presenting two slides today. So the first one is regulatory workplace investigation and response. So here we go. The objective of this slide is to provide an overview of our division, Investigation and Response Division, key role in activities, and what type of incidents are reportable, how you can report it, and how SHENA actually do its investigation. Okay, so firstly, just a bit of background. As you can see, investigation and response division is under operational functions. And under our division, there's also a unit called investigation and response unit. So as you can see, there's 4 operational functions within SHENA: enforcement, IRD, process safety, which is just before this we presented, and then the compliance and international division. So this is the main function of our division. Firstly, we conduct regulatory investigation as per Section 24 of the Workplace Safety and Health Audit. And for your information, our inspectors are warranted inspector as per Section 7, subsection 2 of the audit. So this warranted inspector are actually deemed and have duty and power as per Section 41 of the audit. So basically, if you are not operating while we doing investigation, we actually can force entry by kicking your door if you're not working now. But usually, people actually, it never happened yet. We hope we never have to use the power. Okay. So next, our key role. So there's quite a few that I will do, but I'm not gonna mention everything. I'll just take one. So as our name, we undertake investigation of non-compliances, complaints, and as well as work-related incidents. We also manage the incident notification, which is the incident reporting within SHENA, and then first level response and rapid response and response preparedness. Just to flag out, SHENA is not first responder. So say for example, our workplace incident has been reported to SHENA. We will wait until say a fatality or incident with fatality. We will wait for the police to actually hand over the case to us if there is no criminal intent. So we will investigate it. We will not say, example, there's an incident, we're not gonna run to the scene. So that's the main thing. And we also do coordinated tabletop exercise with key stakeholders as well as management team officers. Okay, who needs to report if there's a work incident at your workplace? Firstly, under the incident reporting regulation, the employer or employee need to report legally. Employer, occupier, and registered medical practitioner. And then, for COMA regulation, the duty holder of a facility are also required legally to report any incident happen at their workplace. Okay? Types of reportable incidents. So not all incidents at workplace are need to be reported. For example, this one. Fatality of need to be reported. Injury, but not all injury. Is this injury where our employee was given 3 days sick leave or admitted 24 hours in hospital? Or injury to any person or self-employed and sent to hospital for treatment. The reason there's once we receive an IN report, where we receive, not this year, I think it's in 2020. There's a report of injury where a worker banged her head or his head on the glass door, but it was reported to SHENA. So in that case, I think it's a good practice, but usually when SHENA receives such report, we will take no action because it doesn't fall under reportable incident. Okay. And then we also, the year's occurrence as per second schedule of the order need to be reported. I'll go to the list later, as well as the occupational disease as per third schedule of the order. Again, major accident, just like what Amirul and Zerako has shared earlier, is reportable incident. Okay. Okay, dangerous occurrence. So, not all incidents are considered dangerous occurrence. There are few listed under the second schedule of the workplace safety and health order, such as the failure of collapse of mobile supports, electrical oxygen, explosion, fire, under fire, but you have to rate properly if it's fall under the dangerous occurrence. Uh, so, for example, for explosion and fire, if I take any room in which person are at work, say for example, a fire happened at the food court. It may not be a workplace for you, but it can be a workplace for the person at the food court. So, depending on the situation, it could be considered as a dangerous occurrence, as it says there, explosion of fire affecting any room in which person at work. So, if it's a big fire, the food report is closed, then cannot work, so it could be considered as dangerous occurrence. Okay, again, non-occupational disease are all occupational disease. So there's 39 listed under the order. I think I'll pick one example, which is radiation. This could radiation also exposure. So maybe it's radiologist could occupational disease or radiation exposure, and then maybe cataract, which is your eyes, and then anthrax, asbestos from the roof. So if the worker have one of these due to their work, it could be considered an occupational disease, and this has to be declared by a registered medical practitioner. Okay, so you might be wondering how actually you can report an INN should an incident happen. What you can do. Firstly, you need to call SHENA duty phone at 733-2200. When you call it, there's a duty officer that will answer, and he or she will probably advise you to fill in a form that can be downloaded from SHENA website at www.shena.gov.pn. So if you go on site at our showcase, they can show you how actually to fill in the form properly. If you're interested, you can actually drop by the showcase with this. And then the IN form, it can be emailed to in@shena.gov.pn. So once we receive this one, some stakeholder will automatically receive the IN report, such as SHENA Management, Ministry of Health, Maritime Port Authority, and industry. So the action that can result from that is no action, monitor, and investigate. And I will go in details after this. Okay. But then, if it's a major accident, we're probably gonna investigate it. This is the process which is gonna happen. And if monitor, we're probably gonna ask the employer to actually add into the investigation and do a presentation of SHENA. If it's deemed enough, we will advise them accordingly and close the IR. If not, SHENA inspector may investigate whether on the incident. Okay. Just to show you, this is SHENA IN form, which can be downloaded and filled in via our website. Okay, just to share with you of incidents that require regulatory investigation. Again, for the incident leading to death will be investigated. Dangerous occurrence, accident leading to serious injury, which causes disability and occupational disease incident. All major accidents will be investigated by SHENA, as it's considered a very serious incident. Just to share quickly, this is how SHENA do its investigation. So it's divided into two levels. This is level one, which is the dangerous occurrence and leading to serious injury. And level two, which is more serious, is for the fatality and major accident. You can see, depending on the complexity of investigation, the process will be different. For example, the number of team members, the number of inspector interviews, how long it requires to be completed, and even the size of it. Okay, just to share, this is SHENA's standard composition. If we decided to investigate, this is how it will be. Investigation officer, statement taking officer, diary officer, incident officer, photographer, and sketch planning officer. So depending on the complexity of the incident, one inspector can handle probably two roles at the same time. Say it's just a simple injury incident. One inspector could be photographer and sketch planning officer because the area is too small to be covered. Again, SHENA inspectors can guided by the order and regulation, as well as regulatory investigation management consulting. So everything we do are standardized and professional and consistent. Okay, for this one, Based on the training cycle, the PDCM methodology, SHENA investigation framework can be phased into plan, do, check, and act. It's stated in our regulatory investigation management SOP, and this is to ensure SHENA inspector are following professional, regulatory, and standardized approach when carrying out an investigation. So basically, in this sense, we also comply with the order and as well the PMS requirement. So I think that's the end of my slide for the first session. I think we can take one test of their speed. Kenapa? Can you give me 1 minute?
Okay.
Okay. So I think the presentation before this is quite dry, and I think we could have more interesting part here. And again, please bear with me. I know maybe it's almost 3 now. You guys are quite sleepy, but you're sleepy because you're coffee outside is free. Therefore, so without further ado, sure. The next slide is the workplace instant trends and case study. So firstly, the objective. This is to share the workplace instant trends in Brunei Darussalam and case study of incidences across various industries. Okay. So, firstly, do you think Brunei is a safe place to work and live? Right? Yes?
Yeah.
And we have other people? Yes? I think it's quite safe. Okay. If you say yes, I think you can indicate. It's quite imbalanced. The blue, I think you can see it's blue. Blue. It's all occurred and construction. Average construction fatality rate in Brunei Darussalam for the year 2012, which is not included here, 2016, was 40.78 100 workers. And this is actually very high compared to our counterpart. They have 6% per 100 worker. And then for UK, which is more developed country, it's 2.15 per 100 worker. So you can say out of 100 workers actually working in Brunei Darussalam, 40 will die. So we don't want that. So China is trying very hard to support the country to better this rate and aiming for zero fatality. And for your information, our DIA enforcement division is helping us greatly in this by doing monitoring visits as well as inspection. And I think if any of you actually interested, I think there's some slot open. Tomorrow afternoon, they will be presenting on the investigation, intervention. Because, and you can see all interesting things for construction sites. Okay? Okay. I will share you the year-to-date incident categories. So just look like up. This 50 that we have received is as of last week. Because we need to prepare the slide, so I cut off it with last week. So as of last week, SHENA has received 50 reports of IIS, and this was categorized into several categories: work fatality, non-work fatality, injury, short disease, severe severe major accident, and others. As you can see, it's slightly bigger on the injury, and then zero optional disease, major accident. But in terms of optional disease, I wouldn't rule out underreporting of such incident. An injury, I'll share you later on that. That's interesting. Okay, just to share, out of the 50 IN report received, again, 13 has come from construction industry, which is tally with what has happened earlier with the fatality rate across the industry. So others here is actually categorized as others, and it has the potential to be a major accident or dangerous occurrence, but it fell short of the definition. So we put it in others. But since it's near-miss incidents, it's a value we can learning from incident. There's a value how we can improve so that thing will not escalate into a more dangerous incident in the future. Okay. Okay, so as I shared earlier, there's more injuries reported, it's like 30. And then when we actually ask them to present, most hazard identified as such, 11 on slip and trips, 13 on work equipment and machinery, 2 work at height, 3 hazardous substances, and 3 from bulk handling equipment. You might say slip and trip, it's 11, it's quite high. You might say it's like, oh, it's nothing, you just fell down, or you fell down, trabah, telayang, or whatever. But then I'll share you one incident that has been reported earlier this year. One worker was actually carrying a load down the stairs. He's doing manual handling, but then he slipped down. In his effort not to fall from the stair, he actually hang with his hand like this. But then his body weight pushed him down, fall down. But then his pinky was torn out as well. Okay. So he was rushed to the hospital. The doctor failed to actually attach the finger, so he was left with permanent disability as he lost his left middle pinky finger. So in that sense, the lesson learned, you might think it's just nothing, you're slipped. But when we ask them to present, it's actually he's not wearing safety boots. That's why he's slipped down. So that one minimal decision that you made not to wear your safety boots could change your life and your family as well. Because now he has permanent disability. So apart from the hazard identified, it also caused another sense some upper hand injuries, head injuries, discolored bones, burn injuries, and back injuries. Okay, so in an effort for us to actually improve the mortality rate and workplace safety culture in Brunei, SHENA has identified four national teams to focus the organizational health area, which is a legal requirement under the risk management regulation and HSC trade and lack of provision and authorized installation of metal of battery software. Again, I want to stress on the normalization. Just to share, this person who actually died was supposed to go home. But then he was long worker while fixing the battery. So this person was actually I used to do this every day. I don't need my friends to watch me over. So he actually rescued him. So that's why I want to share. Please don't take it lightly. Your split second decision. So
Thank you very much, Isa, for the presentation, and thank you for sharing a lot of information on the SHENA incident reporting processes as well as the case study. And that's the end of the presentation today, and we'll now open the floor for question and answer session. We are honored to have the head of investigation response division, Tuan Haji Yusof, with us today, as well as the head of process safety division, Tuan Haji Yaakob. So if you have any questions regarding how the previous presentation, you may raise your hand and I'll pass you the mic. Anyone has any questions? Yes, Tuan.
Engineering. Question on the initial especially
Question under the complex setting order incident reporting regulation. As a group,
student is so if you reach that the tenders, not before the is if you have to report that legal is better that you can inform of the order. Higher for the order. That is as defined in the law. Yeah. So, that is why some companies, even though a simple release essay report to us, look at this, because yes, we said we give a call, thank you for reporting, yes, okay, we will not mention this, but you can just do this statement under your own procedures, and also we want to know what is the outcome. We ask you to present. And so from that interaction engagement, we also give you advice. What are you missing from the investigation? Give advice, or you should do this, you should do this. Because it's also duty to relax the patient to improve your safety culture, to improve also the organization performance. So we are not here not to really enforce, we also to show they give you advice on certain aspect of the regulation. Yeah? I hope I answered your question.
Thank you, Yusuf. Anybody has any more questions?
Good afternoon. Elvin from Tanong Laut. Okay, so my question is on a safety notice. So I've looked at the safety notices, and it just shows what to do and what not to do. Is there any you can actually share the findings of an incident, let's say the root cause analysis or the details of the incident, for people to actually learn from it rather than you just giving us a notice.
Okay. The work first setting of this under the findings, where you can certain aspect of the investigation we cannot share because the case is normally brought up to legal proceeding. So legal proceeding and we have to bring up to the ABC. Yeah? So our common, we only share some of the common finding what we call is used for the legal case. Our process is end-to-end, reporting, investigation, and legal proceeding in case. So we have to be very sensitive in terms of sharing. Our sharing is very much common time. Where you can record training, record risk assessment. Those common finding is linked to other regulation. It's a lack of training is under order. Risk assessment also one of the risk management regulation. Lack of equipment and then it's also under the workplace digital provision. So why? Without decision because it's not gone through a court case set. That's the reason it's not very detailed enough. It's only common finding. I hope you understand that. Yeah? Because it can be very sensitive to the occupier.
Assalamualaikum, Yusuf from department. Who's supposed to report? Is it the department itself, the subcontractor, or the person involved?
Very good question. This question is also being asked in the forum with the government agency local group. Okay. As a duty, so you have to know who is the employer. Is the ministry
is the employer of that person, then you have a duty. If, for example, the person who's injured is a contractor, who's the employer, yeah? Or who's the occupier. So in between that, we will also determine, you can call us to confirm who is a duty to report. Yeah? So because presented is now employer. Sometimes if a single person or lone worker as an injured cross hospital is a medical practitioner that report. Like the oil and gas chemical facilities, the duty holder duty to report. So based on that definition of employer,
the crane, and the last one is the lorry. And authority that modification of equipment or unqualified operator maintenance is it any SOP or standard or control enforcement. So that's it. Thank you.
okay. Under the workplace safety order, there is a regulation met under is general provision. General provision requires organization to have in place the safety management system. Yeah, depending how complex is your organization is into your operation. Under this general provision, is also requires you to have training scheme, training plan for the workers. All the workers that exposed frontline, exposed to hazard need to be given sufficient training. And these training providers are listed in the training providers. Yeah. Like for example, let me pick the last one. That is the lorry. Yeah. The lorry is a driver, is also a mechanic. This foreign worker was not given sufficient training. His training is based on what he was trained in this country. Yeah? And when we investigate also, there is work, no work procedure, it's not evident. Because when we visit, we're looking at based on evidence. If you don't have evidence, that means you are absent of control. That's what some the word control. Under the law, it requires you to have system. Those are all control. Statistic control. If you refer to the risk management regulation, one of the regulation, there's a hierarchy of control. From elimination, the last control is PPP. So on that incident is type of procedures not even training procedure in the way they conduct maintenance. When they raise up the bucket, they did not put safety measures. Safety measures is to take it to if the hydraulic fail, leaking, they should be mechanical gate control. And he was alone. There's no supervision. Things like that. That's our control. If this control are not in place, that's a risk of incident to happen. And another thing that happened from that incident is they have uh, installed what you call is a guard to protect the entry from being stolen. That installation was not authorized by the authority. If that is not installed, the chances of survival will be better because you don't have that what do you call this mechanical or the cage that pin him down. Because that's an unauthorized installation. So when we investigate that, we also collaborated with another agency responsible for road worthiness of the vehicle. That's kind of investigation. We also collaborate with other agencies. Yeah. No, answer your question, then. Yeah.
Anyone has any more questions? Herman Pajijai from IDTE. What are the penalties or consequences if the relevant parties fail to report MYCE
Consequence of
not reporting?
okay. The consequence of not reporting is it falls is not reportable incident or remedial order. Yeah, only these two. In the future, when the compound also remedial order. Yeah. So you have to also your character issues. You record, you pick that.
Educational institutions as well.
On education, there are certain ministries are exempted. That's a list. Like the Mumbai exempted, the police exempted. But when they approach us, we will share our views. What they want to know about improving, because it's about improving the HSC culture in Brunei. Yeah. But not to bring into comfort, because it's written in the law. It's a list order other time. People try to fulfill it. Or they cut the
There's one more question here, President. Give to this one.
Senegal, good afternoon. Isan here from the terms of the reporting and how you manage it apart from the legal practicing you mentioned earlier.
Yes. How do we address this through our outreach program? Yeah. And what because we only can to know when a person is injured, report to us. Who is his worker? What is the company? So our first respond, we will follow up. And some organization also do not know, are not aware of this system of SHENA. Yeah. So this kind of thing. Luckily, we have medical personnel that report to us, whether it's a public or government medical personnel. They have a duty to report to us, but we follow up. Follow up. Yeah. We not have something like this. We not have access committee, we not have procedures. It's a challenge. We will approach them, all this information, we pass it to our system. And then the second question is about analysis. Now, after program also, we are approval training. We are a regulator, and also become a conflict. All is established.
In the interest of time, I think we'll take one more question. Last question, yeah.
Mentioned in the WHO 2009 is G to provide a safe workplace and provide data for immediate non-compliance to the WHO 2009. Are there consequences to the employers?
Very good question. Under the law, it's a duty for the employer or employer to provide whatever measures safe to work in place. If enforcement from us, we will follow with the actions. So the employer will be called by to SHENA force. Will not send the company. A worker has certain, retention with the contact with chemicals. And this worker will not report to us directly, but you report it to a parent. So we take action. So I was part of the team to do some investigation. We follow up. So we follow up we investigate, blah, blah, blah. So what we do is we keep in the middle after investigation. So with that notice, now the investigation for that organization is we have to go to what they call this, they improve the system, they go for given certification to us in order to ensure they comply with the standard. Yeah. So to answer this question, they can report to us, you can also complain. Because as an employee, you have the right to complain also, as concerned. You have a duty as employee. You can read the law. Yeah. I hope you answer the question.
I think we can close the Q&A session now. So for now, actually, we have prepared some quizzes for all of you based on the previous presentation. Before that, we would like to seek your kind of out and this survey feedback on the presentation delivered earlier. So we would like to take your 3 minutes time just to complete the survey. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you for your time. We will throughout the entire presentation. We now welcome the quiz master, Mr. Shuik, and his team who will be with you throughout the quiz session. Please reminder, please complete this survey. It's very important for us for our future. Thank you very much.
Okay, everybody. Again, we'll start the quizzes session now. This is not compulsory, but this is just a fun session where we can give 3 people a chance to win a few vouchers. So we say vouchers worth $30, $10. So if you wish to join, you can go to use your phone and go to quiz myquiz.com. Join myquiz.com. Enter the code to join the game, and once everybody's signed in, we'll start. Okay, we have 2 joiners. 3.